We need to be able to sell the large things of Toblerone and the big packets of M&Ms, the greedy Hello everybody, welcome to another brand new episode of Business Blaze. This one, still on the tiny margins because the corona thing goes on forever. And Tesco, where I get most of my deliveries from, like the supermarket, they deliver to your house. They don't sell paper. And I yet still haven't bothered to order it from Amazon. I really should, because then I will run out. Or I could start printing on the back of the ever-growing pile of previous Business Blaze scripts, but that feels a little bit insane. This one is about Berlin's airport disaster. Danny writes these, I read them, Sam edits them. I'm sorry I don't bring you up, Sam. I should, I should, that's all. On New Year's Eve, 1989. Oh, and thank you, apparently, Claudio Bizarma. You suggested this one. It's noted there in the top for me, because otherwise I would definitely forget. So thank you, Claudio. Let's crack on. On New Year's Eve, 1989, American actor and singer David Hasselhoff. He's not a singer, really, is he? Didn't he just sing that one Get Into My Car song, which kind of sounds creepy? Got a copyright struck on this song, so instead this is what we have. Fucking copyright, yeah. He climbs into a crane, which was hoisted above thousands of adoring German fans. Oh my god, what's he up to? He had gathered in celebration at the Berlin Wall to hear the Hoff perform his single, Looking for Freedom. Wait, was he really a singer? Isn't David Hasselhoff an actor? And then I thought he did a song, even though he's an actor.
Denied.
Holy shit, I had no idea. Oh, add it to the list of things that I'm just completely unaware of. They wanted to show their gratitude for the man who had single-handedly reunited East and West Germany after nearly 3 decades of concrete division, and I know my history and I know that to be true. Some of us might remember David Hasselhoff as the star of critically lauded shows like Knight Rider and Baywatch. Critically lauded. David Hasselhoff rolling around in Knight Rider with the original Siri that wasn't shit.
All these weird gadgets, you'd think they'd give you a radio.
What would you like to hear?
What the hell was that?
Most of us probably don't remember him as a singer. Damn right, as nobody outside of Germany ever bought his lousy records. Wait, so he was just a big deal in Germany? What? But it's perhaps easy to forget that David Hasselhoff was also directly responsible for the fall of the Berlin Wall. What is going on? Or at least that's what he seemed to believe at the time. Okay, this is the most bizarre beginning of a Business Blaze ever. I mean, maybe, I've put some pretty crazy clips at the beginning. People were pointing out on one I did recently, at least at the time of recording, that the video just starts off with me shouting as loud as I possibly can, "Silence, infidel," and what my neighbors might think of that. Like, what's going on in his studio? There's that weird man downstairs who makes videos and shouts. Oh, I'm totally lost.
Do you wish further information on Silicon Valley?
Hell no, I want to know who you are and how you're listening in.
I'm pretty sure there must have been a few other factors too, but the Hoff seemed convinced that his 8-week summer stint at the top of the German music charts with Looking for Freedom helped to lead a divided Germany into revolution. David Hasselhoff is American though, right? Hasselhoff, it sounds German, but he was singing in American, in English. And Looking for Freedom definitely sounds English. 15 years later, he would express disappointment that the Checkpoint Charlie Museum, a museum in Berlin dedicated to the rise and fall of the Berlin Wall, didn't feature a single photograph of him. How soon people forget. Of course, the fall of the Berlin Wall wasn't just about helping David Hasselhoff flog a few more copies of his album. No. Berlin was now in a position to celebrate its new status as the capital of a reunited country and become a major new global destination. But there was work to be done. For starters, I've totally forgotten that this isn't a video about David Hasselhoff, but it's a video about airports. Okay. For starters, the city's existing 3 airports would have to go. Tempelhof Airport and Tegel Airport, now in formerly West Berlin, and Schoenfeld Airport in former East Berlin were now considered to be too small, outdated, and impractical. By 1991, plans had been drawn up for a new single commercial airport for Berlin and Brandenburg, which would replace the 3 archaic airports of the Cold War era. The new construction would go under the name of the Willy Brandt Berlin-Brandenburg Airport. Jesus Christ, proudly named after the Nobel Peace Prize winning leader of the Social Democratic Party of Germany from 1964 to 1987. It would be massive. It would be modern. It would carry around 34 million passengers every year, and it would be one of the busiest 15 airports in Europe. The airport would be planned, owned, and run by a new airline operator, Flughafen Berlin Brandenburg GmbH, which thankfully can be shortened to FBB, which I'll do from now on because I have no idea about that pronunciation. There we go. They were in turn owned by Berlin Brandenburg and the federal government. It would cost the German taxpayer around 2.83 billion euros, and it would take a little time to build, as you'd naturally expect. After 15 years of planning, construction finally got underway on the new airport in 2006, with a projected completion date of October 2011. 5 years. That is not messing around. Sadly, there were a few minor hiccups and delays along the way. Well, actually, there were more than a few. As I write this in self-isolation during the virus time of 2020, good news, I got an email newsletter this morning telling me that we can now talk about coronavirus on YouTube without getting automatically demonetized, which is nice. So, during the coronavirus time, coronavirus, COVID-19 virus of 2020, we're still having to wait for the airport to open. Oh my god, seriously? I assume I'd been to this airport because I've been to Berlin airports, but no, Berlin is called something else. Is it Schoenfeld? Is that the main airport? Yeah, but then they say that's one of the closed ones. Whatever, we're carrying on. This airport is still not open, even though it's been 14 years. Germany, if there's one thing that you're famous for, it's being efficient. This doesn't seem very efficient. So far, the costs have tripled to 9.4 billion euros, although even that won't be the final figure. It was meant to be a new source of hope and pride for a reunited country and a showcase of German efficiency in motion. Did not work out. So how did the Berlin-Brandenburg airport develop into such an embarrassing catastrophe? The idea of a new airport was never likely to be popular with everyone, and particularly not with local residents. Yeah, I mean, oh my god, I'm sure some people are going to give me shit for this, but like the debate about whether Heathrow should get another runway has been going on forever. I think they finally decided that it can have one, or a third one, or something, and it's like the busiest airport in the world, and it's got 1 or 2 runways. It's time, guys. I know it sucks that your house is underneath a new flight path, but I don't know, deal with it. Simon. 2 villages ended up getting completely removed from the map to make way for the airport. Or yeah, if your house gets demolished, that sucks. And that really is bad. And if my house got demolished, I'd be really pissed. But I'd also hope that I could see the bigger picture. And also I wouldn't complain about it forever. I'd be like, well, that sucks. What can I do about it? Well, I'll try taking it to court, and then I lose, and then basically the people have decided that I have to go. Okay, I'll accept it. I'm not going to be hanging out in my house not letting them demolish it or complaining about it all the time. I've got better things to do, like purchasing a new house. The 335 citizens of Diepense received compensation and were rehomed elsewhere, and it was the same story with the 35 villagers of Selchow, although 35 does seem like an incredibly low population for a whole village in the first place. You suspect that they didn't even have a pub or a bingo hall, missing out on all those important German essentials, like the bingo hall. Other nearby homes would receive comprehensive soundproofing provided by the FBI. No, provided by FBB. Don't know what that is, although this ended up costing around 50 million euros more than they'd originally budgeted for. Good lord. This little oversight would be the least of their problems, though. For several years, construction of the airport appeared to be running quite smoothly. Well, it was only going to take 5 years, so like, how long could this have been going on for? Oh, that's right. 14 years and counting. Although the completion date was pushed back from October 2011 to June 2012, this hardly seemed like a major crisis at the time. Almost you'd expect it to be pushed back, even in Germany. In fact, one of the most surprising things about this whole story is that in May 2012, just 1 month before the rescheduled grand opening, everyone seemed genuinely convinced that it was going to happen. Even Chancellor Angela Merkel was having her hair done in preparation for the planned opening ceremony. Okie dokie. It now transpires that many people involved in the construction at the time were trying to warn FBB that there might be 1 or 2 problems that needed addressing. But the largely politician-led operators were sticking their fingers in their ears. Yeah, it's a great idea when you put politicians in charge of giant construction and business operations, because they're really, really known to focus on efficiency, controlled spending, and all of those important business things. They didn't want to hear anything about anything that might wreck this glorious moment for Berlin. However, they did eventually have no choice but to participate in a humiliating press conference to announce another short delay on the airport after a local official refused to certify the building's fire safety system. It was during this period that the new construction boss, Hartmut Mehrdorn, decided to make a list of other faults and failures that would need urgent attention before another opening date could be promised. Let's hope he had plenty of pens and a really big notepad. Here we go. Because it turns out that there were more than just 1 or 2 small issues that needed addressing. There were over 500,000. I'm not even exaggerating. Danny's written it in bold and all caps. How can you even write? How can one man note 500,000 things? We obviously don't want to go through all of them in this video, obviously not. But here are some of the more notable problems that Harmut and his buddies found. There weren't enough check-in desks in the new terminal, and it was discovered that staff members would only be able to handle about half as many check-ins as realistically needed. Only 499,999 to go! Proposed solution to this had to be to erect temporary check-in tents outside the airport. You go into the check-in tent and it's like, this is Germany, right? Because it sure feels like random third world country. But a storm of controversy was soon whipped up when it was revealed that FBB had plans for German airlines to receive preferential treatment at the normal check-in desks, whilst ethnic second-class airlines, and that's a quote, would have to make do with outside tents. The supposedly sophisticated fire safety systems were not functioning, and they appeared to have been designed without a legal permit for the use of any brain cells. The fire protection flaps had been designed to exhaust smoke downwards underneath the airport floor during an emergency, which is fine until you remember that smoke actually rises upwards. Oh sh**. During construction, the workers had cleverly got around this slight problem of not having a working fire safety system by simply hiding temporary employees to sit around all day in strategic positions and raise the alarm with a quick phone call if they ever saw any smoke drifting out from under doors. That sounds sustainable and safe. 750 of the monitors that displayed flight information had been quietly humming away to themselves in rehearsal during the years of construction and now burned out without ever being seen by a single passenger. Oh, meaning they would now need to be replaced at a cost of more than 50,000 euros. Don't worry, that's a drop in the bucket compared to the overall expense of this. Thousands of light bulbs had to stay permanently switched on 24 hours a day because no one could figure out how to turn them off. This is awesome. I mean, awesomely terrible. But I don't know, on business plays, it's always much more fun when goes horribly wrong. Some of the cabling had been incorrectly installed. In fact, 90,000 meters of it would need to be replaced. Guys, what is going on? 40,000 doors, 4,000 doors, sorry, but I mean, come on. Just throw an extra zero on there, it wouldn't be unbelievable. 4 billion doors had to be apparently replaced. Could believe it. Not really though. 4,000 doors had apparently been wrongly numbered, which does beg the question as to why a single airport would need quite so many doors, even if they had the correct numbering. On top of all of this, some of the escalators were too short. You can imagine getting to the top and it's like, oh yeah, there's just a few steps. So you're lugging up your bags and it's like, oh, great, thanks guys. Or you just get up to the top, you know, like in, what was that game where you got to install escalators? Was it like Sim Tower? But you get up to the top and then you just drop off. Escalators to nowhere. The airport's roof was twice the authorized weight. That sounds legitimately incredibly dangerous. Flight paths and sound protection zones had been incorrectly calculated. 3,000 smoke detectors had gone missing, and hundreds of freshly planted trees would need to be chopped down and replaced because they were of the wrong variety. That sounds unnecessary. Come on, poor trees. In short, there still needed to be a fair amount of work done before this comedy airport for traveling clowns could be officially opened. Sounds like a perfect place for Ryanair to operate from, to be honest. But the Germans usually have a strong reputation for engineering efficiency, so just how are things allowed to evolve into such a bewildering mess and such an unexpected drain on the state resources and the German taxpayer? I'd be really pissed if I was a German taxpayer. A big part of the problem seems to be that the wrong people have been placed in the wrong positions. Yeah, the politicians were in charge. It went wrong. Surprise! One of the original architects for the project was a guy called Ronald McDonald. Not really. Meinhard von Gerken, who was possibly one of Germany's most famous architects of the time, although he was well into his 70s by this point. The thing is, Meinhard didn't like shopping, or shoppers. He felt that airport design should be rooted entirely in the purity of international travel, rather than catering for bothersome passengers who wanted to fill their carrier bags with cheap duty-free shit. So he decided to ban any traces of shop space from his shiny new airport without bothering to tell officials. What have you done, Meinhard? How are people going to buy the cheap shit? We need to be able to sell the large things of Toblerone and the big packets of M&Ms, the greedy The problem here is that 50% of a modern airport's revenue comes from retail shops, so the planners quickly had to add whole new floors of shopping space after construction had already begun. Did you not look at the plans and be like, where are all the shops? I swear I go to an airport, most of it is shops. Other than the outside bit with the planes. But inside, even the gate, it's like, there's a Starbucks at the gate. I fucking love it. The purity of international travel. Can you imagine an airport without shops? it would be just a horrible experience. Like, what else am I going to do? What else? Literally. I mean, does that include pubs? Because if I'm not shopping, I need to be getting drunk. Professor Genia Kostka of Berlin's Hertie School of Governance later concluded that the last-minute change of plans was like fixing an aeroplane while it's flying. Many of the airport builders simply began to lose track of what was being done and what had been installed where. Another big issue, I'm resting my foot on my heater. My boiler is not working still. It's cold. My feet are cold. This feels comfortable. Last time I made the video, I'm not sure if it's gone out yet, but I said this made me feel like I was talking to a horse, and I have no idea why, and I still think about that. I might have cut it out because it was too weird. Many of the airport builders simply began to lose track of what was being done, blah, blah, blah. Another big issue was that this colossal engineering project was being managed by a board of directors at FBB, which was largely made up of politicians with zero experience in engineering and apparently no interest either. Danny and I on the same page. You wouldn't really trust them to put together a half-decent paper plane, never mind overseeing the construction of a major new airport. Evidently. Over the years, there were several rounds of musical chairs at the top of the tree and a string of embarrassing corruption scandals and hasty exits. Well, maybe one of those people exited with 3,000 smoke alarms. Hey, John, what's it? Sorry. Hey Heinz, what's in your backpack? Nothing! Heinz, you dropped a smoke detector. Most notably, the former airport technical director, Jochen Grossman, was accused of demanding 500,000 euros as a bribe from a company in exchange for a contract to fix the airport smoke extraction system. Oh, Johan, you're in big trouble now. Jochen was found guilty of corruption and fraud, fired from his post, fined 200,000 euros. That doesn't seem too bad when he was asking for $500,000, and received a 1-year suspended prison sentence. Suspended prison sentence? That means he didn't go to prison. What the f***? Dude, you are was he a politician? Yeah, he seems to be a politician or a technical director. He was fined 200,000 euros, which doesn't seem like a lot for the scale of the crime, and he didn't go to prison. We've done Business Blaze videos where people went to prison for 8 years, I feel, for way less than this. Probably because they're American. In 2014, it was revealed that the chief planner for the airport's fire protection system, a dude called Alfredo de Morio, who had been leading the project for years, was not in fact a qualified engineer as everyone had believed at the time. The chief planner! Oh, this is better comedy than anyone could possibly write. It's a joke. Gotta heat up my other foot. Oh god, my leg has gone slightly to sleep. He was actually just an apprentice drafter. I don't know what that is, but apprentice doesn't make it sound important. And a drafter, I feel, is someone who just drafts stuff. So you're not doing the final copy, just the drafts. He later claims that everyone thought I was an engineer. I just didn't contradict them. I actually don't blame that guy too hard. He sounds like, imagine if you went for a job interview as like a low-level employee of some random company, and at the same time they were interviewing for CEOs, and you just happened to impress them in the interview. They were asking you all these really hard questions. You didn't lie, you didn't make it up, and they're like, we've decided to hire you, congratulations, you're now the CEO of, I don't know, like Boeing or some shit. And they're like, would you just be like, okay, that seems like a step up, but I'm not gonna complain. Anyway, there was a long string of mistakes that ended up costing hundreds of millions of euros to fix. Oh, it appears that FBB weren't even capable of hiring the right press spokesperson. In 2016, just 3 months into his new role, Daniel Abo was fired from his post after giving a too-frank interview with PR Magazine. Throughout the interview, Daniel Abo revealed his opinions on how billions of taxpayers' euros had been thrown down the drain. Daniel, you're supposed to spin it positive for the airport, and how little faith he had in any bullshit promises that the new airport would be a success in the long term. He said, believe me, no politician, no airport director, no one who isn't dependent on medication will give you any firm guarantees for this airport. It sounds as if Daniel hadn't quite got a grip on the job he was supposed to be doing. Maybe he was just an apprentice drafter too. Oh, this is the best. The saga of Willy Brandt Berlin Brandenburg Airport has continued to rumble on for the last few years, with fresh promises of rescheduled completion dates quickly followed by further delays and disappointments. Whatever happens now, the new airport will need a slightly tweaked name, as the family of Willy Brandt, who died in 1992, have requested that his name be removed for a project that has developed into a national symbol of a humiliating disaster. Can you imagine? I feel like one of the peaks of honor is having a goddamn international airport named after you. Like the Simon Whistler International Airport would be like, made it, like pinnacle. And then it would be like, you have to request that your name is removed from it. would be like the biggest drop disappointment ever. And they're not going to name another airport after you after that. It's just going to be associated. You know, this guy's name is probably already associated with airports. It's now estimated that the final project will exceed over 10 billion euros. And almost unbelievably, despite the fact that the whole world has grown to a standstill during the virus time, FBB has promised that the construction of the airport will not be affected by the pandemic. Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't seem like they're making any progress anyway. And the project is still on course to be completed by October 2020. Tell you what, I won't be making any bets on that happening. It seems to fly in the face of the fact that all construction workers have withdrawn from the site until further notice. Jesus Christ. Now many believe that it would have worked out far better to just completely dismantle the whole site back in 2011 when those 500,000 issues first came to light and start from scratch again. I guess the German government and the architects of this project, or whoever's in charge, haven't heard of the economic concept of sunk costs. It's an important one. But of course, nobody at the top fancied admitting that billions of dollars had been wasted on a massive false start, and instead they decided it would be far better to just keep on throwing good taxpayer money after bad. Well, that's not their money, is it? Who gives a fuck? Ultimately, the failure of the long-delayed Berlin-Brandenburg airport seems to have come down to the fact that a group of non-engineers hired a group of other non-engineers to work on a highly ambitious engineering project which completely changed course after construction had already got underway. They should have just given David Hasselhoff a call. He would have sorted it out in no time. Doesn't he have a name? Like the something? The Hoff? The Hoffmeister? Bonus board game, okie dokie. Still, it's not all bad news. In 2017, Philip Messinger and Bastian Ignazievsky decided to turn Berlin airport disaster into a fun board game called Unberechenbar something, the crazy airport game, which comes with its own Achtung satire label. Not a million miles away from Monopoly, the twist in this game is that you have to waste as much public money as you possibly can by making your way around the board and picking up cards that describe familiar roadblocks, such as your escalators are too short. You planted hundreds of wrong trees. And someone stole 3,000 smoke alarms. This is the best business place ever. Every single card describes an event that genuinely happened during the Berlin airport fiasco. Oh god, I've got a tear in my eye. Although sadly, the game developers chickened out a little bit by not actually including any references to Berlin airport. They obviously didn't want to get sued. Oh shit! Bearing in mind that the FBB probably hired Porky the Pig and Daffy Duck to head up their team of lawyers, I doubt there was anything to worry about. Oh, that's the end. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button. Subscribe. You're a legend because you watched all the way to the end. Thank you very much. This is possibly my favorite business place so far. Thank you for watching. I need to sit down.
Fucking copyright, yeah.